Let's talk about research projects that work for everyone. Projects that students enjoy working on, projects that teachers enjoy grading. I assign a semester-long project where they get to select a topic within the parameters of the course and then produce a project at the end of the semester based on their research. There are 3 parts to the research grade: process, reflection, and project. Each portion is worth 10% overall. Yes, the process and thinking about the process are just as important as the final thing they produce. I'm not teaching them about a specific topic. I'm teaching them how to do research. And I'm teaching them how to be self-reflective and think about what works and what doesn't. The project is more of a proof of concept than anything else. Some caveats. This is specifically for survey courses. Upper level courses have different assignments because they have different pedagogical goals. For survey courses, I mostly teach world history, and I do teach Western Civ and US History Survey as well. I've been refining this project structure since I started teaching in 2014. I transitioned it to a digital project when I started teaching fully online in 2019 and arrived at this specific structure in 2020. Now, on to the details. The project can be anything they want. Though if they want to do a writing-focused project like a paper, I point them towards a website or a blog. Students sometimes want to do PowerPoint presentations. I've made it clear that PowerPoints support a presentation with only minimal information on the slides. It's one they have to give either to a live audience or as a webinar, and they'll have to answer audience questions at the end. Yes, they can prep the questions ahead of time. Students have proposed podcasts, videos, Twitter or Instagram accounts, video games, TikTok series, apps, and TED Talks. I have seen incredible creativity from my students with this project. It is inspiring to see them instinctively know what is historically valuable. My biggest challenge is keeping them on track to do a history project, because they're not always super clear on what makes a history project, and that is okay, because that's what I'm teaching them. Step 1 of the process is topic selection. Some students come in with an idea of what they want to research. Sometimes it's something they've learned earlier and weren't able to study further. Sometimes it's a change in something they're already following. Others want to study something personal to them. There is minimal overlap between topics, even if many students choose the same starting point. They will use unique keywords and search terms to find different sources, simply because they're different people. Even if they find the same sources, they'll analyze them differently. Some students don't quite believe me when I say anything goes, even with examples of more unusual topics. They then suggest a topic that they think will get shot down and are amazed when I approve it. Topics like this have included the history of crypto, the history of Resident Evil video games, the history of service dogs, and the history of men's figure skating. Finally, there are students who are utterly paralyzed by the sheer vastness of possibility. Within the parameters of the course, in world history, is everything. These are the students who come up with what they think is a proper history topic, but they're not invested in it. We have to workshop it to get to something that intrigues them. A significant portion of students each semester have to change their topics as they work on the project. Each process assignment from this point forward has a specific thing that will reveal a project or topic's weakness. The reflections are where they can process their struggles and figure out what didn't work. Step 2 is a preliminary source list. They need to show me they know the difference between primary and secondary sources, and they need to show me that they are at least attempting citations. Citations are hard and require practice. This is the point where many students working on ancient topics realize they need to change course because there simply aren't enough accessible sources for the final project. This is also where students who aren't invested in their topic bail on it and find a new one. If they can't keep focus for this short assignment, they're not going to finish the final project, and then none of us will be happy. Step 3 is the proposal. This is where they tell me their idea for the project. They can propose anything as long as it is digital, and they can make the case that it is the best way to showcase their research. Here's where the creativity shines through. Some students use this as a chance to try out the skills they're learning in their majors in a different context. So film students propose movies and game design students propose video games. Others use this as a chance to showcase their hobbies and passions. Students have written songs and created visual artwork for this project. One student did a history of their sport and had their teammates demonstrate the prior moves and the current moves in a video. And in some cases, students take me at my word and reach for the stars by proposing something they just don't know how to do. Students have proposed AAA video games, apps, and virtual reality experiences. In these cases, I give them instructions for what I need to see in a mock-up. Step 4 is workshop week, or day if it's a synchronous course. They're split into groups and peer review drafts of their projects. The more complete the draft, the better the feedback they get. There are several reasons for workshop week. It helps to get other eyes on the project. I'm not able to provide feedback to 100+ students. It gives them a hard deadline to get started. It gives them an idea of how much work they have left. And it lets them see what other people are doing. And then step 5, they submit the final project. If it's live on the internet, they submit a link. If not, they submit it through the LMS. Here's the secret to the success of this structure. They're excited about the process. They're working on something they're already invested in, whether it's the topic or the project. All right, finally, here are some examples of how and why this works. So first off, a student wanted to study the changes in the rules of golf, but thought it was too silly. Eventually, they found out why a certain rule had changed in the 1940s. It was a British rule designed to help players work around unexploded bombs on golf courses during World War II. Fun things have history too. A student, an amateur drag queen, had noticed changes in drag queen makeup styles. They already recognized what triggered the change: Trixie Mattel's appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race. Drag makeup artists were posting tutorials for her look. The student used makeup tutorials from before and after her appearance to show change over time. Primary sources aren't just written texts. A student proposed a timeline of the important texts of second wave feminism in the United States. After workshop week, they felt their idea was too simple. Instead, they created a greatest hits of feminism album with synopses of the texts as the liner notes. They explained the significance of each text and how they all combined to boost the growing feminist movement. History projects can be creative. A student was researching soldiers' rations in wartime and found that to really understand what the sources were saying, it was necessary to actually cook the food. So the student filmed a cooking tutorial of a specific meal and discussed the history in a voiceover. History can be, and sometimes must be, hands-on. A student in 2020 decided to study quarantine protocols because we were still under COVID-19 restrictions, I directed the student to focus on an earlier pandemic that was actually over for their project. The student made a quarantine protocol training video for nurses during the 1918 pandemic flu. History is topical and can help us understand our current society. As long as students follow the process, they'll end up with a strong history project at the end of the semester. I hope they're proud of their projects and of themselves. I sure am. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to support more work like this, check out my Patreon. The link is below. See what tier appeals to you. I'll see you in the next one.